As a busy mom of two, as someone who works from home, it may look like I'm doing nothing and that's how I can get 30,000 steps done. But truly, it's because I do everything in a systematic order. One, I'm not naturally a type A, I'm not naturally more so a type B. But it's the idea that when you get something done, it's actually frustrated that you can't get the task done because of the emotions, or is the task itself actually that hard? 99% of the time, it's going to be because the action is super easy, it's the emotion. And because you can't get over the emotion or acknowledge it, you're having what's called a cognitive fusion where you think your emotion is the task. When truly that's not true. Like me making a high protein bowl, yes, it's like 3 ingredients. It's a lot of work. One's from the fridge, one's from the pantry, and it's hard to put it all together. But truly the task itself is not hard. I have 2 arms. I know how to actually do that. It's the fact that it's a medium of me having to realize those are all the steps that I'm doing, and my brain is literally doing the instructions to get that done. But in true reality, in order to work on that and not let it be this cognitive fusion where it's a mix between the two, it's the ability to observe. Can you actually in your brain go, oh wait, the task isn't hard. It's that I think it's hard because it's a lot of steps. But if I break those steps down and it's only 4 things, I can do 4 things. Having that logical ability to reduce the amount of steps is going to reduce your brain emotional instability where it's up here to calm it down so that you can actually think through step by step. And before you know it, you're like, oh my gosh, that only took 2 minutes and I can actually eat now. Especially as a busy mom of 2 in 2 completely different age groups, I'm always on the go. I'm always doing multiple things at the same time. It's definitely multiple tabs open at all times, but if I'm focusing on one tab at a time, I can somehow get all these tabs closed. Especially when I know if I keep hopping towards it all, it's not going to get anything done. So my ability to slow it down, hence why I walk a ton, and be able to have the not cognitive fusion, I can separate what is the emotion versus what is the task while still being a present mom, because I know my daughter is going through a growth phase or that my son is always going to be, this busy toddler, so that I can learn how to sacrifice what isn't essential, such as I don't really care if my son's playing with the Legos while I'm trying to get some dinner done. And while I get the dinner done, I'm not going in my fridge 24/7. I'm grabbing all the ingredients, I'm prepping it in front of me, I'm doing what's in front of me, I'm cooking one step at a time. So prep, cook, then be able to divide. Putting it in small portions like that is going to be able to help me see one step at a time versus being like, oh my gosh, I got to do dinner and I got to meal prep and I got to do all of that. Me just talking about that, you probably sense the idea of overwhelm. The tasks themselves weren't actually that hard. It's the idea of them adding up together that's giving me that emotional instability of me being like, oh, now I can't do it all. And oh my gosh, what a tall task. Because you're right, you did just list them all. And it is a lot of work, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. So having positive affirmations, not like meditative or like you need to be grounded or anything like that, but like truly just being able to talk out loud and hear your voice and like your voice to say like, oh, I can do hard things. Oh, yep, it's just this part first. And then it's this next part. And being able to know that you can do it in small parts and that you are capable of doing it all, just everything takes a turn. And I think that's the biggest advice I'd give to moms who are struggling with like, how the heck do you do it all? How do you get 30K in a day? I can barely do 10,000 and that's like 3 breaks a day, right? You're right. Because you're phrasing it in a hard way, it's always going to be hard. But if you phrase it where it's easier, where you're like, I can fit 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 30 minutes there, your brain instantly changes and goes, oh, this is how we make it work. But if you keep talking about it like it's a big deal, you're right. It's always going to be a big deal. But it's going to be a big deal where it never gets done. But if you start talking about it like it's already done, you're right. It is going to actually get done.